is your lawn, because that's how somebody, right? Your lawn. You're judged by how your lawn looks.
It's really competitive out there.
And I fired my lawn service when I found Dyna, because Dyna is a local-owned company, locally produced company that makes fertilizer and makes a system that anybody can use. Jim Duver is with us from Dyna. Jim, good morning.
Good morning, McGraw.
You're going to be joining us here on a weekly basis to get our yard ready for the spring. And you can't have a good spring yard if you don't take care of it in the fall.
That's correct. The fall is the most important time. This is when you want to put down your 3 applications of the Dyna fertilizer.
Okay, so that's why you're here. So every Thursday you're going to come on and give us a little helpful hints to make our lawn look good for the spring, but you got to do a little work now.
That's correct.
All right, so what do we need to do this weekend or coming up to make sure our lawn is good for the spring? What's the first thing we need to do?
The first application would be a good fall starter, and that's going to be done sometime in September. And that's where you want to start this weekend. If you have any grass bare spots, you also want to do some overseeding.
Overseeding. Now, Dyna has a fall starter, and I heard on the radio it has phosphorus in it.
That's correct. And phosphorus is really important if you're lacking in your yard or if you're seeding. It helps the roots develop.
There are some yards that are so far gone or so brown or so dead. Themselves, what is this fall starter going to do for my lawn in the spring? You have to start somewhere, right, to sort of bring it back to life, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, and this fall starter...
The fall starter will help get it the grass growing, reestablished this fall,
right,
so that it'll get able to put in reserves to come back out in the spring strong.
How do I put it down?
A good broadcast spreader. You'll be applying a bag would typically cover about 5,000 square foot for an 18-pound bag.
Right. So it's pretty easy, right?
Very easy.
In the Dyna system, what is the fall starter number? Is it 4? Is it 3? What is it? 5?
Fall starter would be number 4.
Number 4.
Yes.
And the Dyna system is a 5-part system, right?
It is.
Explain that to people and explain how easy it is.
Well, what we do, the bags are each numbered, so you start in the spring with number 1, work your way into fall.
Right.
The fall starter is number 4, but we have 2 applications of the 5, and that's going to be the winterizer.
The winterizer.
Correct.
And that's different from the fall starter.
It is. The winterizer is a phosphorus-free formula, and you would apply it about 30 days apart. So after you get your September application in, you would then go ahead and do a October and November of winterizer.
Okay. And you can put too much winterizer on, right?
You cannot. If you do just 2 applications, you'll be fine.
Right. Well, I know years ago I bought a big bag of winterizer, and I was like, well, if a little bit's good, I'll put a whole bunch on, and I ruin the yard.
Yeah,
right?
you definitely
don't
want to
do that.
Don't overdo it.
You want to follow the label.
Follow the directions. Dyna, explain to people that Dyna, you guys are here, you've been here, and you design the fertilizer and everything for this region. Explain that.
Yeah, Dyna fertilizer started as a commercial product that we sold just to the commercial people back when we were located on Shoto Avenue in St. Louis.
Right.
Well, we decided that we ought to take that same quality product and develop it for the retail market, so the homeowners can have the same products that the professionals used to use.
Right. So you design it each year for what? For sun and for rain and for climate and for soil.
Right. We design it to make it as foolproof as possible. So all you have to worry about is following the label, putting down the right amount.
Right. Yeah. Explain seeding and overseeding. If there's too much, well, go ahead. Tell me what should we do for seeding purposes?
With the kind of summer we had, especially here in St. Louis, it was decent rain. The weather was relatively cool. The lawns are not as bad a shape as they would be like last year.
Right.
So you're going to basically probably just do an overseeding, which would be a lighter rate, when a rate means how many pounds per 1,000 square foot.
Right.
So you might be putting down 3 pounds per 1,000 square foot if you just have a few bare spots.
We were just talking about this the other day. When is the best time to water your lawn? Should you do it in the morning, afternoon, evening?
If possible, morning would be the best, but you have to also look at your schedule. And now when you're seeding, you need to keep that lawn moist for a couple weeks, so you might have to do it twice a day. Evening watering could promote some disease issues. So, the lawn doesn't dry off before it gets dark.
Yeah, but morning is the best.
Yeah, morning would be the best.
Can you put too much grass seed down?
You can. You really can. You should try to follow the label on that too. It doesn't look like a lot's going down, but that grass is going to grow thicker and tiller out, and that is going to make you a full lawn. So
Right.
just follow what's on the label.
And then mowing. When can you mow after you seed or reseed? When can you mow where you won't ruin the grass?
Well, I think the best rule of thumb there is get a good watering in so the seed makes ground contact, and that is really important. If the seed does not make ground contact, it will not grow.
Right.
Once it's glued to the ground by watering, then you should be able to come over and start mowing again.
All right, good. And then should it be a federal offense if you don't edge your yard?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
It should. And your lawn is edged perfectly.
Thank you.
That
Right?
is a good-looking edging.
I mean, that is like getting a haircut and not getting your eyebrows,
that is
trimmed,
correct.
right? I mean, there are some people in the neighborhood. I'm like, ooh, they don't edge. It's just
It's a competition with neighbors. You have to have your lawn together. You really do. You have to have it looking great and gorgeous and edged.
yes, Jim. If I were to buy Dyna Green, where would I go?
Well, the best way, McGraw, is to go to dynagreeninfo.com and look for the dealer tab, and it'll show you who's selling it here locally.
Right.
If you're in other markets, there's some for Kansas City also.
Right. But just go into your local independent lawn and garden dealer, and if you have any questions, they're all schooled in this as well, so they can sort of walk you through it as well.
Yeah, we really make it important to train our dealers to understand the 5-step program for the Dyna Green, and they do a really good job.
And it's almost McGraw-proof.
Almost.
It's almost McGraw-proof. So there you go. All right. So you're going to come back the next couple of weeks, fill us in on what we need to be doing. But this weekend, what we need to do is at least to get our grass. If you have a perfect lawn or a terrible lawn, you got to get some fall starter down there this weekend.
You do. If you don't feed it this fall, you're not going to be happy with your grass in the spring.
Do you put more than one application of fall starter on?
Normally, we just do one fall starter and then followed by 2 winterizers about 30 days apart.
Gotcha. So fall starter and reseed. And Dyna Green has seeds as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there one grass better than another? I always hear Kentucky bluegrass or rye or fescue or...
Yeah, the bluegrass is making a little comeback, but I think most people in St. Louis market prefers the fescue blends, and Independence is a really good fescue blend that we developed for this market.
Right. So you developed the actual seed for it.
Yes, and we're probably one of the only I think we're the only distributor out there that has a product that we do not bag it until we review the labels from the growers. And if the labels don't meet our specs with weed seed and other things in the bags,
right.
We won't accept it. And we have rejected labels before.
See, only the finest with Dyna Green. So dynagreeninfo.com for more information, and then your local independent lawn and garden dealer. Ask for it by name, Dyna Green. Jim, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You mentioned. Do you remember he said my edging looks good?
Yes,
Edging is important. 8:45, Big 550.